Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Dracy, longtime anchor for Forever and a Day, and I think pretty much everybody you could think of that's a major character who has their own title, except this guy. I love Daredevil. First issue I had of his, I thought it was incredible. Never ever had a chance to ink him, not even as a background character in the the titles like the Avengers books and such. So that is my secret shame and my cross to bear. So anyway, I'm going to talk about the time that Captain America he worked for Marvel Comics. He was a Marvel artist in the comic books. Well, where else? Right down the street from me. Well, it starts off right here. There was a I don't even know if YouTube allows you to say this kind of stuff anymore, but like you see those guys at the bottom shooting, it's from World War II. You could figure it out. Anyway, he was. There was a period where there was a Captain America who had different symbols on him. It started to be the Cap from the 50s, the one who Steve Englehart and Sal Buscema thought they'd written off forever. And so there's a press conference to, clear his name, clear Cap's name. And Chris Claremont's got the plot, and Roger McKenzie does the script. And they're just trying to sort out the mess because he might be subpoenaed. And, whoa, okay, there. And he's giving this press conference, and someone asked him if he's outlived his usefulness as a fighting spirit. And he goes, outlived my usefulness? To be perfectly honest, I don't know. No further questions. Of course, the reporters are on him like, bugs on windshield. So, anyway, a friend of his stops him. She's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and she knows what happened to Sheridan Carter. And he hadn't seen her in ages, and it turned out she was involved with this, bad group of people. I think it was called like the Nationalistic Front or something like that. And they, like ninjas in the Daredevil comic, they would self-immolate or immolate. I can't remember the term. Set themselves on fire. And this is some heavy shit, because he didn't even get to say goodbye to her. He gets to see the video of her. And that's just astonishing storytelling by Sal Buscema. It's just Don Perlin on the inks, and it just looks real. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's just, there's no way to describe it. And he's been gone for a while. And, Falcon is trying to grab the other Avengers, say we gotta look for him. Well, here comes Cap in his nice suit. And he wanted some time alone, and now that he's going to maybe return to active duty, maybe not. And he says that the place was part of my past, Falk, and it didn't have room enough to have both Captain America and Steve Rogers, meaning the Avengers Mansion. If you need me, you can reach me at this address. Commercial artist. So he's taking his big first steps into, I think it is... What is it? I think it's in Brooklyn. It is a brownstone. And he meets his first neighbor who's charging out the door. He's a fireman, so he has to take care of the fires. Well, anyway, he meets more neighbors. He sits up in his room, and he's feeling like a whole person for the first time in a long time. He meets his neighbor, Josh Cooper, who volunteers for special education for kids who, what I'm saying, with special needs. Well, I mean, time goes by. He does all that kind of stuff. And I know I'm brushing over it, but right now, there's between all these issues, there's not much more spent on it other than he's sitting with a deadline. But he's listening to the radio, and there's a monster out there. He's like, well, I kissed that bonus goodnight. So if you're a freelance artist, remember this excuse. Remember that there is a monster as strong as an ox and twice as ugly. Those are your code words to blow your deadline. Okay? That's it. We go to a great cover. I was in Cleveland when I bought that individual issue. It's funny things you remember. I was at my Aunt Flo and Uncle Chuck's house. Well, they continue with, Roger Stern and John Byrne continue with Steve having this private life, which is great. And then he meets the love of his life for a while, Bernadette Rosenthal. Now, bear in mind, this is a long time after, okay? It's not just like, not like he just forgot about Sharon. Anyway, that's really all on that epic, but I'm getting to the good stuff. Now. That beautiful Wolverine cap cover from, I think it was Captain America Annual. Hold on a second, I can see if I get these in order or not. No, I do not. Okay, we'll come back. Well, that's a teaser. That's what they say in, TV and stuff. It's a teaser. I smack the camera with my big old hands. Okay, Captain America and Hawkeye, Society of Serpents. It starts off written by a certain Mike Carlin, who would go on fame and fortune as editor at Marvel, and then the Superman editor at DC, and he became an executive editor, and now he's in the DC animation department. And always a good guy. I've always liked working with him, but since he doesn't do comics side anymore, we don't get to work together. Okay, you got some more of that, his lifestyle as a freelance artist. Oh no, I brought that up. I just wanted to show it's continuing, okay? Take it easy on me. Okay. Well, he's on the subway. He sees these two kids saying, "Oh, wow, Captain America." He says, thought someone recognized me a moment there. It's just the comic book likenesses they're talking about. I sometimes forget that the Avengers have authorized the Marvel Comics Group to adapt our adventures in comic book format. Sure, Castlevania, I got them all since 247, the Stern and Byrne issues, which is funny. I can't believe our butler, Jarvis, is in charge of supplying Marvel Comics with summaries of art cases. He also reviews all the material before it goes to press. Holy moly, I just thought of something. Why can't I draw comics for a living? So there goes the light bulb. It brings it over to Bernie Rosenthal. Changed her hair. She had a blast. She had a glass blowing business, but it went out of business. That's a real risky. That's almost as risky as being a freelancer in the comic book world. Anyway, she's taking it down. She's kind of gloomy, understandably. Well, he just mentions these comic books. He goes, "Hey, on the way over, I had this terrific idea. See, I've got an alert to draw them for a living. You must forgive me for not doing cartwheels. I'm a bit bummed out by closing the place right now." So, he just gets that German idea. Now, what am I showing here? Okay, well, that here, make it more legible for everybody. Well, he shows up at the reception area, and hi, you must be Steve Rogers. I'm Mike, one of the editors around here. Come back on my office. Ooh, what a grip! Good to see you, Mike. He's younger than I expected. Well, that very well could be. I'm Mr. Mike Carlin. And something, this isn't self-serving from Mike. Mike wrote 6 issues that bridged the issues that J.M. DeMatteis did up to 300, and he did like 301 through 306, and then Mark Gruenwald came on and did it for 10 years. But what was really smart in the 80s was no writers were allowed to edit themselves. They always had to have a second pair of eyes. And so that's why sometimes you got a lot of drag in the Bronze Age. You got a lot of stuff that just kind of zipped through. It's a lot of good stuff, but this thing with an editor overlooking another editor's writing, it just makes for a more consistent product. And I hate to say product, but that's the only word I can think of right now. But, this mysterious Mike fella, Mike C, we'll call him, I'm sorry no one was able to see you when you dropped off your portfolio last week, but getting the books out on time is take priority over everything else around here. You wouldn't believe how many people submit samples every week. Gotta tell you though, that editor comes across samples from a guy off the street as amazing as these only once or twice in his whole career. These are really something, Steve. Where the heck did he learn how to draw dramatically and dynamically and powerfully? And I guess it comes naturally, I guess. I'd be a moron if I didn't sign you up to do a regular book for me. Well, before one of the editors latches onto you, interested? You bet. What do you have in mind? How would you like to draw Captain America? And Cap is bemused. Captain America, I really like that. He's one of my favorite heroes. A little self-serving, but hey, he's earned it, The camera up a little more. Okay, he says, tell you the truth, Cap could use a boost in art sales right now. Boost that your art might give him. Sales have really been slumping lately, and there's even talk about canceling the book. You're kidding, I thought Cap was popular. He is, but the creative team I just hasn't been portraying him right. That's why I want to shake things up a bit. The book still gets lots of mail there. Here's a copy of one, and you can look at, I get a copy of the plot. And then this one is like, Dear Captain America, I'm writing to you. I don't know how to get to you any other way, but if there's a green alien or surprise villain hanging in Mrs. Haley's farm, no one around here believes me. Well, we'll get back to that later. Subplot. Okay, Steve, here's your plot. Say, how many letters do you get addressed to Captain America? Quite a few. Not the kind we can use on the letters page. And Mike C says, good luck on your assignment. You got 3 weeks, but you're welcome to turn it in as soon as you do it. Thank you. And what an artistic find that guy is. If they come here looking for someone to actually star in a Captain America the movie, he's the guy they ought to check out. Or Red Brown. Hey, pass the ink, will you? That's Mike Higgins, a Deadhead fan from way back. He's followed the Grateful Dead, and that's why he's always adorned with tie-dye. This is the Serpent Society. This is an aside real quick. Grunwald had been on this book already, quite a few issues, at least half a year. He took the Serpent Squad, which was like this band of like 3 Serpent-type characters that appeared in Englehart's run around... 72, 73. And as years went on, different comics in Marvel started developing different snake-like characters, like Cobra. He was part of the Serpent Squad, and she was too, Princess Python. But there's a bunch of others that, like the Asp, and this guy here, he's showed up in the Serpent Crown Affair. I can't remember his name, but he doesn't talk. He's just deadly. Well, and this one guy here, he... who the hell is this guy's name? It's Sidewinder, that's right. And he has the power to teleport. And he forms an organization of villains, and they turn into the Serpent Society, and it's like they pay dues, and they get health insurance, and everything. And it's just brilliant. I mean, Mark Grunwald... He was saddled with some average artists. And I don't mean to put down Paul Neary, just that he's just there, I don't know how to put it. I'm being rude. So, in other words, he wasn't a hot artist, but I still liked it because he could tell a clear story, and I enjoyed it combined with Mark Grunwald. If it was a lesser writer, I would probably say I don't know. So, but they worked in tandem very well. Unbelievable, Steve. Your work is unbelievable. I can't get over how you handle those action scenes. And you draw like you'd actually been there to see it. Thanks, Mike. I must admit, I had a few problems here. Like what? I think Cap should occasionally have doubts about his heroes. As well, fill out the pay voucher for the work, and we'll call up my Cap writer, and you can hash it out with him. Hey, Michael Higgins, could you give these pages to the interns to get full-size copies? And he grumbles, big blonde, there's one for the book. There's one for the book. A single issue, he's criticizing the scripts he gets. He's worse than me. So, a little bit of in-joke there. Okay, now, see, I love that. Back to Roxily Bell. Come on. I'm going to sit right here. I ain't going anywhere till you adjust, camera. better. Okay. Now we're getting to the epic collection that has even more Capitan America doing art things. So, man, that is just Mike Zeck and Beatty. I believe Beatty's did it. It may be on the inside. But, I mean, they were like a great team. And, I mean, Zeck is great on a lot of things, but with Beatty, they're just magic. So, first time in a while, we see him at Marvel. And things changed since I was up there last. Even the editor book I drew was new. I draw was new. Listen to me. Hey, I really like your work, Steve. And so does my trusted assistant, Dave, who helped. I don't know who Dave is. I have to think back on that. Who will help you if I'm on tour with the band. Thanks, Don. So, he says, so what's this about you? I'll give it a permanent address. He goes, well, I like to travel a lot. Hey, as long as you let us know where you are, send the plots, you get your pages back in, I can't complain. Please drop by and get when I work. Okay, I'll make sure to do that. Don, and you too, Dave. Anyway, that's Dave. Give me a second. Don Daly. Now, he went on to do the Punisher books, I believe. He went on to edit those. And I got a quick Don Daly story that's really odd. In 1990, when I was living in my one room in this house with a bunch of other roommates, I was working on a portfolio, and I wanted to write a bunch of different books and stuff like that. And I submitted these varied plots. I would spend about $30, which was a lot for me back then. And I got the 9x12 envelopes, and I put my samples in there, and I addressed them to every single editor. If I didn't have the comics they all did, I'd go to the local comic shop and just rifle through and write down the names. And I got no responses. But on a Saturday, Don Daly calls me in the middle of the day, and I'm just tripping. And he said, we can't really use it, but it shows a lot of initiative. Just keep at it, man. And that is one of those stepping stones that you get that kind of gets you to the next plateau. That maybe I can do this for a living, and that, he was just, he didn't get me working a lot, but he just gave me an attaboy, and that stuck. There's a lot of plateaus when you get into comics. You got to get past, a lot of the, that's for the next volume. You have to get past a lot of what your friends and family say, because they'll say, your shit doesn't stink. And you have to find a way, I've said this before, to separate complete strangers from their money so they can buy something that you've done that's made the product, the book, whatever it is, the album, the movie. You have to make it so people want to pay to see it and enjoy it and come back over and over again. So, and I've been very blessed to work on a lot of high-end titles, like JLA, the Grant Morrison one, not all the shitty ones that preceded and came after. Final Crisis, just, a little of everything, just a lot of good stuff. Oh, I did some Avengers stuff when Luke Cage and Jessica Jones got married. That was pretty cool. Except Marvel doesn't pay shit for royalties. DC's awesome about royalties. So, okay, well, enough about my Workman blues. I just wanted to tell you that, I tried and tried to find the issue where Steve calls up Marvel and says, hey, I can't do this anymore, and they're kind of mystified, but Mark Gruenwald, he decided, and wisely, that Cap wouldn't have time for that kind of stuff. I mean, he has to be Cap 24/7. And, I was kind of wondered about, even though I loved him being an artist, because that was my aspiration too, and especially doing Captain America. If you think of it, like if you're out there fighting a bunch of Hydra agents and you're hands get all bashed up from like punching a robot or getting out of the way or hanging on a rough metal ledge, and you get knocked around unconscious. It's like, yeah, you're going to go right to the drawing board as soon as you get home with bloodied hands that hurt like shit when you even try to put gauze on them. No. Well, I hate it. Sorry about that. No. It's like a twat. But Grunwald said, hey, he's got to be capped full time, and that was very wise. I love the time where it's like he had a few years where he could have a private life to enjoy and relate a little bit, more than he had in a long time, because he'd just been a Shield, he'd been an Avenger and a Shield auxiliary agent. So anyway, Grunwald's run is almost over. This is. Gosh, they started off with issue 306 or 307, and he finished around 425. So he's done over 100 issues, and I might be going low. I think it's like 330 something. Mike's a great guy. Mark was a brilliant writer, and we all are poor for his absence since he passed in 1996. Mike's still around, and if I see him at shows and we talk on Facebook, and he's a great guy. He is a great guy, and that's about it. My little story where Captain America worked for Marvel Comics. Dear God, the scandal. Oh! I almost forgot something. I'm right back. Okay. Gotta hawk my own wares for a minute there. Yep. Do you like rock and roll? Do you like violence? Do you like drugs and sex and romance and blasphemy and a little of everything? That's a Pittsburgh band called the Demands. They're in Pittsburgh, and they play a lot of clubs owned by the Russian mob. And our lead antagonist, Lainey, she gets involved with one of the younger generation of mobsters, which I nickname Mobblers. And things get really dirty. People get the shit knocked out of them. People die. And it's not, it's a prose book. It's not, a comic, but it's only 200 pages each. And I've had I've had reviews, people I don't even know, said that they can read one of these over a weekend. Because I try to make them fat. I try to trim the fat. So, good old Chuck Dixon gave me a beautiful review, but the whole theme is rock and roll's dead and she's next. So and there's FBI agent on her ass. So anyway, it was good talking to you again so soon, and be well. Bye.